You would have heard about a leading retailer where substantial data was hacked. There was a data hack that happened. What really happened? It was a large retail chain in the US who had an HVAC vendor, HVAC vendor, who would monitor their temperature control remotely from their offices. So that vendor had access to the network. What happened? Someone hacked into the credentials of the vendor's user ID, got into the retail giant's network, and actually stole more than 40 million users' credit card and debit card data. It wasn't the company that actually caused the breach, it was the vendor who had access to the company's network that caused the breach. You have an e-commerce giant. There was a phishing attack. Phishing is where probably a link is sent to you via email, which if you click on could direct you to a malicious website. And what it did was actually it installed a virus, a malware into the network, which actually compromised data of more than 230 million employees there. You had customers, their names, their private personal information, their addresses, phone numbers, all of that was divulged. So here I am to talk to you about securing your personal digital footprint. All of us have digital footprint on the web. This is the data that we leave behind on the web. We are going to sites for our official purposes. Less do we know that any site that we browse is probably being recorded somewhere. Any activity that you do on the internet medium is being recorded somewhere. And what remains, what goes on the public domain remains there. Whatever you do on the web stays on the web and stays forever. You would have noticed that of late Facebook had this feature where they were celebrating various moments in your life. They had the whole trending. They had captured whatever you had done on social media on Facebook, and you could actually put it up as a movie as well for yourself. How did they do it? Your last 10 years of what you were doing on Facebook was all available with them. What you do on the public medium is your footprint that you're leaving behind on the public domain. So are you leaving, and what is it that they are collecting? Who are these they? Right? Irrespective of what devices you use, whether it's your mobile, whether it's your corporate PC, whether it's your home PC, tablets, whatever it is that you're using, there is data being collected. You would many a times notice that if an application crashes, you're immediately prompted to say there's been a crash, would you want to send the report? Right? So there is data being gathered as you do any activity on the devices that you're using, and this remains forever. If you look at social media also, and all of us have identities there, even the IP addresses that you use, where you're doing it from, you may not actually divulge where you're doing it from, but location based services are also captured, whether it's from your mobile or whether even if it's from your tablet, or even an IP address belonging to an organization or your home internet service provider, IP addresses are captured, which means essentially one can locate what you're doing, where are you doing it from. Past purchases, all of us now in this era are so used to online purchasing, all of that is being tracked. One can actually draw a profile to say, what is this person into? What are your likes? What are your dislikes? What are the typical purchases that you do? Would you have noticed instances where you've probably said holiday in London, and suddenly as you traverse the web, on the right hand side you will start seeing advertisements related to something happening in London. You will start seeing advertisements related to maybe hotels, maybe excursions, etc. Again, search engines are capturing what you're doing, and they are then advertising to you depending on your profile, on your history of browsing. Data is being stored. Data is being stored. Whatever we do, data is being stored and ads are being shown then accordingly. So does this impact me? I mean, fine, it's all there. How many of us actually now go on to LinkedIn, for example, or to search for profiles that we can hire? So for employment, gone are the days where CV is what is considered. Your CV is already out there. Not just on LinkedIn, what you do on Facebook is also monitored. Because you may have a corporate profile, but your personal profile is also what people are looking for. There have been cases where people have been rejected not because of the LinkedIn profile, but because of the Facebook profile that they have. Obviously, we've said that the information remains. We have had cases where the courts have relied on what is being browsed, what is it that the person has been trending, doing across over a period of time, over years together, to actually use it in the court of law, to link it to suspects further on and actually nab the criminals, right? So it's immense what you can do. We've had cases where PhD scholars, where people doing thesis, part of their thesis goes public or goes on the web, and the student then loses the scholarship that they would have got otherwise. So what does it all mean? It's all around. This net is all scattered. How do you escape the dragnet? How can you be smart enough? How do we avoid the entire mechanism that's been set up, which is a way of life? There is nothing right or wrong. That's how we've set up the internet. We've chosen to be a part of the World Wide Web. Think before you post. Whatever you do, why not post things that we want the world to know? Why not post things that we want our professional counterparts to know, as well as our personal counterparts to know, right? So let's make it positive. Of course, we should use this medium and use this medium to put as much as positive information that we can. I'm sure most of us that we're using social media would know that each of these aspects do have privacy settings as well. So while they provide, or while they actually gather all the data, they have settings that you can enable. You can decide who can see what and what is the extent that is available in the public domain. Many a times we have these links that are that could come into your corporate emails as well. So on your office email ID, you would have a link that comes in which looks like, for example, www.ey.com, right? So I assume that it is coming from EY. I click on it, and there could be a page that's saying, okay, put in, to log in here, authenticate, put in your username, password of the domain. Less do I know that it's actually called www.ey.com, but it's actually coming from another source. So please be very wary of login pages. You need to see what the URL actually says. While what it says on the email could say one thing, but when you click on it, if you look at the URL, if you look at the address on top, you will realize that it's coming from an altogether different site. We get these emails, we get SMSs for banks, etc., to say don't divulge your username, password, we would never ask you these details, etc. So this is probably a refresher. I'm sure most of you already know what this is, but this is probably just to reiterate the fact that all of us here have a digital footprint on the web. However, however harmless it may sound, however harmless it may look, but please be wary. Nobody is going to ask you for username and password together, no matter whether it's bank accounts, email accounts, e-commerce sites, whatever it is. Please be wary. We recently had this hack at a leading song portal where usernames and passwords of all their subscribers was divulged. However, we realized that most of them were using the same passwords across sites. Be very careful of what we are dealing with here. Be aware, be prepared. Like we said, in the future and even now, your digital footprint probably carries more weight than what your CV does. Probably you will not need to circulate CVs anymore. All you will say is send a link and this is where I am, this is what I am. Thank you.